Okay, I think we are good to go. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm just doing my last second stuff that I have to do here just to make things good for the stream. I have to pull up all of my chat windows and whatnots to make sure that everybody can be seen. If you're asking questions or saying hi or anything else, I want to be able to make sure that I can see your comments, which means I have to stack my windows. I wish I had a unified box that would show all of my chats from all of my different streams, because I stream in 3 different places. If you don't know, twitch.tv, YouTube /Jeff Ravel, and Facebook /JR's Woodshop. So I stream from all 3 of those simultaneously through the miracle of technology. And the only thing it does, there's a live chat window in each one, so you all can throw chats at me, questions or comments or whatever, and I can view them, but I can only, basically have like one window open, so I have to have all 3 of those tabs in their own windows and then stack them so I can see the chat windows for each one. It's just kind of a thing. There are some streaming programs that you can use that will give you a unified chat window, and it'll pull all the chats in and tell you which stream they're coming from, whatever. But I think there's one called restream.io and some others, but they cost like, I don't know, 10 bucks, 20 bucks a month. I'm not looking to spend that just for the chats. This is free. So I can do, well, besides my initial investment of all my gear, this is pretty much free for me to do. So even though it's a little bit more of a pain, I do have that available to me and I can see that. So if you do have any chats, if you would like to say something, let me know you're here, ask questions, whatever. I am set up for that and I can see them. I try to check this periodically, depending on what I'm doing in the shop. It may be a few minutes before I see your comment, because if I'm working over at a table saw or sander or doing something, milling up a bunch of wood, I'm not going to be constantly checking the stream while I'm doing that. So I try to keep up on them when I can. So don't ask me anything that you need a time-sensitive answer for, because you won't get one probably. And remember, as always, I like big mutts, and I cannot lie. Mutts with an M, mutts. Was a present from my dear friend Sandy, who has departed this world, but she left this mug for me, so makes me think of her. All right, in the shop today, sorry, that was kind of a loud all right. In the shop today, I'm going to see what past Jeff, young me, left for myself many, many, many years ago. I opened this last week, barely, in the stream, just to kind of show it to you. And hang on a second, I just got a message here. I guess yes. When I was in my 20s, so I was a photographer for decades, years and years and years and years. That was my profession. I did it as a hobby. I did it for an official job. I managed other people who did it. I did like all facets of photography. So I was super, super into photography. I still love photography, but it was my job for decades and decades. But anyway, I was really super into it, and I had found a camera kit because I wanted to do large format photography. And buying a large format camera, and by large format I mean that back in the Stone Age, when we used to shoot things on actual film, not digital, most people would use a 35mm camera. If you were really fancy and shooting weddings, you'd use what we'd call a medium format camera, which gave you a larger negative. But if you really wanted to be the man or the woman who was creating art, you were shooting on a large format camera. You were shooting on a 4x5, or oh my gosh, an 8x10 would be out of this world. But anyway, if you were doing landscapes and stuff, you weren't pussyfooting around with that 35mm. It was way too small. You were going for the big guns. You were using a medium format or large format camera. And so my thought was, well, I really wanted to get into that. I borrowed some cameras and such for large format, but I wanted my own at the time. And I found this kit from a company called Bender. And hang on a second, I forgot to grab my mouse because I need to switch screens for you all for just a second. So I'm gonna go grab this. So the Bender Camera Company, I think that's what they were called. There's a name tag here. Bender View Camera Kits. I have no idea what I spent for this thing when I bought it. I was in my 20s, I know that. So it was quite some time ago, probably almost 30 years ago, maybe. And I bought this thing and I started kind of doing work on it. But I think at that point in time, I was not a woodworker. And even though I'd had like shop class in school and stuff like that, I didn't really have any tools or a lot of woodworking experience. And I don't think it required a whole lot, but maybe more than I had at that point in time, and maybe more patience than I had at that point in time too. But anyway, I got this kit, and for whatever reason, I boxed it up and put it away, and I never went into it again. And I was in my basement the other day, and I found this, and I was like, holy crud, I forgot all about this thing. And I was like, you know, I got tools, I got a wood shop. Why not give this thing a finish? So I have not pulled anything out of here. I have not taken an accounting of what is inside the kit as of right now. And so I really couldn't say that it is complete. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm gonna go and break this thing down, see what goodies I left for my future self, and see if this is a project that I could actually finish, because I'd like to finish it. It would be kind of cool, if nothing else, to have it sit on the shelf. I don't have a lens. I can get a lens. Lenses are pretty, view camera lens. Like, I don't need a really fancy view camera lens. I could probably pick one up for like 50 bucks or less on eBay. Let me switch to, oh, you know what? I may not have set this up. I hope I did. Let me see if this is going to do this. I got to change the view, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here if this is working. It is working. Good. Awesome. Okay, so I have to use my little mouse here and click over. So this is basically what I've got. I think somebody was selling this on eBay. This is what I'm supposed to have. I don't know that I have all of that, but it's supposed to look like that. And this is a view camera. It's a monorail. Now this one looks like it's been, I don't know, doesn't like this surface that I'm working on here to do the mouse. This one has had some modifications to it, and it's not exactly the same as mine, but it's pretty darn close. So you can see that it's what's called a monorail. So it has one rail right here, and the front and rear stanchions slide up and down that rail, and that's how you focus the camera. There is a bellows between the lens board here and the back where the film goes. And then in the back, which is not here, should be a piece of ground glass about 4 by 5 inches in size, which is where the film would slide in when you're taking the picture. But when you're not taking the picture and you want to compose the picture, you slide the film out. It's in a holder. You slide the film out, and then the lens projects onto that ground glass, and you can actually see what you're doing, and you can get your composition and your focus right. Everything's upside down and backwards, because that's the way optics work in a camera. But when you're doing a view camera, you kind of get used to viewing things that way. But anyway, that is what we're looking at in terms of a project. And I just thought that was pretty cool. Let me switch back to regular view here. So I thought it was pretty cool that I found that. And I thought, you know, like I said, I've got this thing. And so I might as well dig in and see what's what. What else is going on? Oh, so last, what's today, Friday? Wednesday, we, in the shop, I made a stand for my bicycle. So you can see it right there under the tire. That's my my stand, because bikes don't come with kickstands. At least mountain bikes don't. If you buy a big box store or whatever, it probably still has one. But normal mountain bikes and stuff do not have kickstands, but you need some way for it to stand up. So I built that little stand for it. And I'm also going to be doing some upgrades. And I got this in the mail this morning, well, FedEx, which is a replacement handlebar, which I'm very excited about, with new grips. Also very excited about. So this is from P&W, which is Pacific Northwest Components. They make mountain bike stuff. It's pretty cool. And I kind of really like the red there. very grippy, and they're a higher rise handlebar, so my handlebars are kind of flat, and I feel like I'm a little hunched over on my bike a little bit, so I wanted to raise myself up a little bit, so I got a little bit of a higher rise handlebar. And they're super light too, which is really cool. So save a couple of grams of weight off the bike. So I'm gonna probably I have to pull all the brakes and the gear shifts and things off and switch that out today. So I'm probably gonna do that a little later on, but that was kind of cool. So I'm gonna be upgrading my bike over time. My bike was not super expensive. Well, okay. In the grand scheme of bicycles, I will say my bike was not super expensive. You can spend car money on a bike. I mean, seriously, you can get into a 5-digit bike. And I'm not doing that. I just wanted to kind of break into the bike picture. So I didn't get a big box bike like Walmart or Target or Dick's Sporting Goods. I went a little bit higher than that. So I was at REI, which REI is like it's one of my happy places. If you don't know what REI is, it's basically camping and hiking and outdoor sporting goods type stuff. But it's like you can get like pro level gear there. It's not like Dick's Sporting Goods, which is more based on very amateur consumer kind of sporting goods. You can get pretty high end good stuff. And even in the bike stuff, they have a full bike shop in the REI and technicians and whatnots, and they carry some pretty pricey stuff. Like they carry their own brand, which is Co-op, which is what I bought, but they also carry like Cannondale and some other like big name brand expensive bikes. Anyway, I did not spend expensive bike money, and under $600 for my bike, which is like bottom line. If you're getting a decent mountain bike, that's like at the very entry bottom line level. But it leaves me a lot of places where I can do some little upgrades here and there. Like I already upgraded the pedals, got rid of the stock ones and added those, and I've added some accessories to it, like a mount for my phone so I can do GPS or listen to my stuff. And I've added a couple little bags and a bottle carrier and little teeny things that, you know, just little upgrades. And now it's like, okay, I want to upgrade stuff that's going to up my performance a little bit. I changed the saddle, which is what they call the seat. So I did that already to get a better feeling saddle under my rear, because that was an adjustment. Trust me, if you haven't ridden a bike in a long time, that saddle, you're going to know if it's good or bad. And it wasn't a bad saddle. It's just I had one that I preferred. So I put that on there. And now I'm going to change the handlebars. And over time, I'm going to be looking, maybe adding a dropper post to drop the seat down when you're going downhill. You don't want the seat hitting you in the rear. There's some other things too. But I'm never happy with stuff I buy. It seems like I'm on like one of those, maybe it's because like the guitar thing. Like if I buy a guitar and you think like, oh, I've got this brand new guitar and it's so awesome and stuff, but all I'm thinking is, okay, maybe I need to change the strings. And if I change the nut, well, let me change the saddles. And oh, well, the pickups, if I put this pickup in there, it'll sound different and better maybe, and blah, blah. It's like a sickness. It really is. Anyway, it's kind of carried over into my bike stuff. But I do want to get that dialed in because there's some trails. I want to start riding some trails, and there are some mountain bike specific trails in my area that I'd like to go ride. And so I kind of need a couple little tweaks. That's all I'm going to say. Little tweaks to the bike to make it trail worthy. I mean, it's trail worthy now. I mean, I could ride a trail right now. It's just there's some things that would make it a little bit more pleasurable and a little bit better for me. But that being said, circling around to, yes, I got new handlebars for the bike, and I'll be putting those on probably sometime today. And then maybe taking it for a ride this afternoon if it's nice. It's sunny outside, but it was chilly. I had to actually turn on the propane heater this morning and bring the shop up to temp. It was a wee bit chilly. Now, my thermometer says it's 81 degrees in here, and I know that it is not 81 degrees in here. That's baloney. It's probably about 65 in here. So it's still a little chilly. Some cold nights. We're doing the spring roller coaster. So 70s and then down to 50s, and it's just doing that kind of stuff, which hopefully your weather is pleasant where you are. But that's kind of typical springtime here. My son's like, it's so crazy here. Our weather's so crazy. I'm like, that's not crazy. That's normal. That's not normal weather. I'm like, yeah, I've lived here for like 40 years. That's normal springtime in Virginia. It's what you get. But anyway, what are we doing here today? What are we doing? We're doing this. So let me get some of this stuff out of the way. And coffee, good for the soul. Let me move my computer over here. And let's get this ready. I'm going to put these ears over here because I really want to dig in and see. Let's just do an accounting of what we've got here. And I'm going to start pulling pieces out, and maybe we can just take a look. I don't know that I need this, but I'll leave it there for right now because I actually do have holes, and if they're small pieces, this will keep them from falling through some of these holes. I have two cameras. That one might be good. All right, so let's dig in and see what past Jeff left future Jeff to deal with. So we've got some sandpaper. You know, hey, got some sandpaper here. Not sure what I was buying here. Wet sanding, special waterproof sandpaper from Dart. I don't know if you remember Dart stores. Oh my gosh, Dart. Wow. Wow, I don't think there is a Dart store anymore. Dart was kind of like, I think Dart was the old Target maybe? Target, I think, turned into Dart. All right, there's a piece. And these pieces right here. And I don't know what I did on some of this, like this piece right here is joined. These are two different pieces. And it looks like I just glued it together, but it's already pre-drilled for screws, but I didn't put any screws in there. So that's kind of strange. So something to look at. Here is the rail. So this is like I told you, this is a monorail camera, which means that everything slides on this rail. So you can slide the lens way up here and the film way back here. If you're looking at something that's close up, if you're looking and focusing on something far away, then they get closer together. That's the way that works. Anyway, those are easy pieces. Here's a tiny piece. It's just the same rail stuff. So I'm not sure where that goes. I might have to refer back to that photograph. This is a lens board. So you can see there's a little circle cut into this. And that is where you would mount the lens. And that would fit into this section right here, which doesn't quite fit in there. It needs a little tweaking, I think. A little tweak, which is not a big deal, but that would fit into there. So that's where you do that. Now this says, there's stuff written on these, front standard. I don't think I wrote that on there though. It doesn't look like my handwriting. So front standard, well, it has a T-nut in there. And then it seems like I've got some knobs in here. I'm gonna just dump this out real quick. Ooh, knobs and screws, and make sure there's nothing else in here. There's a paper bag. I might want to get myself some plastic bags to keep some of this hardware in, or get myself a couple of bins. So I've got these, which look like screws, but they're 1/4-20. I can tell those are 1/4-20, and that probably fits right in here. Screws in, hopefully. Maybe. Feels like I should screw into there. Maybe not. These might be for the star nuts right here. So these are little star nuts right here. I might have to put this in a, because it's got a little oxidation on here. Let me go over here and show you. So there's a little oxidation on this threaded rod here. Like I said, it looks like 1/4-20. So I might have to clean this up a little bit and see, because it seems like it wants to fit on this, but maybe not. So I do have, I found the other day, also when I was in my basement, yeah, these, I don't know if these fit on here or not. When I was in my basement, I found, let me show you what I found. I pulled it up here. I found this is kind of cool. It's an old, I think this was my father-in-law's that maybe belonged to his father. So like maybe my wife's grandfather. But I found this was just really cool, which is basically an old tap and die set. And I just brought it up to the shop so I could clean it. It was kind of really gross and I don't know, had a really nasty finish on it. So I kind of cleaned it off with some alcohol, the old finish, and then just put a little boiled linseed oil on there. This is an OK Junior round die, screw something. Screw plate. So basically, but it's a tap and die set. So I could find, I think there's a 1/4 20 in here. I would have to find it, but I could, maybe not. I'll have to look and see what it has listed for cutting for 10 cutting sizes, but maybe 1/4 20 is not on there. So I might need to get myself a 1/4 20 die. So the die is the thing that cuts or recuts threads. So this right here would be a die. Let me go over here. So this is a die right here. So this is what cuts the threads and or cleans your threads up. A tap, on the other hand, is what you would use to make the screw holes or the threads that they would go into. So that's a tap. The round thing is a die. There's a little handle here that you use to basically if you're doing a threaded thing. I don't know if I have one that fits that. Well, that would be disappointing. But anyway, that being said, moving on, because those are not really important, but I have some screws here, some like brass wood screws. There's 4 of those. I have some nuts. So these are little nuts that are basically the same size as these right here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 brass washers. So that's interesting. So let me lay all this stuff up here and let's keep going through. One of these is really, I got 3 short threaded rods and 1 long threaded rod. Yeah, this might be more puzzle than anything. 2 star knobs here, and these things right here. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna try to keep all these things separated here. This says back on the bag. So let's see what's in the back here, which, okay. Now this is funny because these were in a bag and these were out. So if you look at the wood, if you look at how much, let's see, that's a little nicer. So look at how much darker, this is cherry, by the way. Look at the color difference in those. This one was in a bag, wrapped up in a bag. This one was just out in the box. So this one has received a lot. This is what's cool about cherry is that over time, cherry oxidizes like this, whereas fresh cut or protected cherry, much lighter in color. So this is very similar to the stuff that I'm used to looking at. Anyway, that's kind of cool. Let's see what else is in here. So a lot of little pieces of wood here for the, okay, ooh, what is this? Okay, there's a, I don't know what this is, a little long wire thing. So that's interesting. We've got some thin pieces. Now these are numbered, so there's like number 24 on these. So maybe there's some assembly instructions in here somewhere. These say number 22 on them, and then this says 23. Yeah, there's another 23. There's another one of those long rods in here. So I'm not sure what those long rods were meant for. This says number 25. And then, oh, hang on, some tiny blocks. It's number 26, so little tiny 26 blocks. Yeah, I might have to really do some studying. Now this said lens board holder, so I think this was, there's nothing, well, there's, oh wait, there's screws in here. Okay, there's some, oh, little, that's interesting. Oh, all right, that makes sense. That makes sense. So there are some little angled, like 90-degree angled, get all this stuff out of the way. There are 90-degree angled screws. So these things are angled at 90 degrees. And you can see, there you go. So I'm pretty sure that what you would do is when you would put this board in here, if it sat in all the way, these little 90-degree things would actually screw into each corner here or the side. And then you would turn them over, you know, to kind of hold that lens board in place. That's probably what those are all about. It's kind of cool. All right, I'm really hoping that I come across, okay, here's a couple of other star knobs just laying down here. Or is that bag open? That bag may be open. Really hoping I come across a some sort of instructions. Now this bag has no label on it, which is really weird because some of these are labeled and some of them are not. Okay, oh, there's a baggie holding another. So this has more screws in there, another threaded rod, and then a star nut with a very long nut with a square end on the end of it. We've got some little pieces right here, another piece right here. This is probably the mount for the railing. This is where you would mount this to a tripod. I'm going to guess that's what that is. And this little piece right here. So I have no idea. I've got no idea. I do have a lot of bags though. I'm going to try to keep the bags so they don't get all in the way here. All right, next on the hit parade. Now this says back holder. So when you're, like I said, in the back of the camera, you've got the back where the ground glass goes, but then you also need to be able to slide it back in. So this is interesting. So these are slotted. The slot doesn't go all the way. This piece of wood is slotted. This is number 14. This is number 13. Interesting. And then these are 11 and 12. These you can see are already drilled for, this is probably, these go on the sides and then you can do like this. And yeah. All right. Interesting. I'm going to put these over here because that's for the back of the camera. The holder. There's also some very thin pieces here. So 15, 16, so two 15s and two 16s. Come on, Jeff, you need some instructions. Please tell me they're in there somewhere. And then there is a bunch of hardware that goes in these as well. I'm definitely going to get some baggies and such for this. I think baggies would be, oh, look, I've got levels in there too. So there's little, hang on, look at this. There's little bubble levels in there. So when you're trying to ascertain whether your camera is you know, parallel to the ground or whatever, you've got little levels there. So that's kind of cool. And there's another screw in there. I do not want to lose these things. Okay. And then some, whoa, don't go off there. There's some little T-nuts in here as well. So these are T-nuts right here. Really very commonly used. There is some extra screws just flying around here. Kind of weird. If you look, some of these are like printed on here. Like that says lens holder. And then some of these are just handwritten, which I find kind of interesting. Pieces of cardboard with holes in them. I'm not sure what those were for. Some more sandpaper, medium sandpaper. Wow, I don't know what I was thinking. That's some heavy grit stuff. All right, then there's a little envelope here that has, I don't know what this has in here. Let's see. Oh, it has a little brass plate with two little tiny screws, and it says, oh, there you go. It says Bender view camera. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there you go. Bender view camera. I'm going to put those back in here because I don't want to lose the little nameplate and the screws. Little tiny screws. All right, nameplate. I'm getting down to the nitty gritty and I'm really distressing that I'm not finding anything. So this says ground glass holder. Let's see what's in here. Okay, this is more crazy stuff here. So these are, I'm trying to keep these separated so that my pieces are, because I could always go back and watch my video if I'm not certain. So right up here, so there's some more of those little L screws. There's a tiny wood screw here, a really teeny tiny piece of wood. I hope that's nothing I need. Maybe it is. And then these really tiny blocks here that are all numbered. There's another little tiny screw. Come out, little tiny screw. Oh, another little tiny piece of wood. So this tiny, I mean tiny piece of wood. A little teeny tiny piece of wood. There's 2 of those in there. So I'm going to think that's not an accident. Oh wait, there's 4 of them. Now I know it's not an accident. So I'm not sure what those little teeny tiny pieces of wood are, except that they're very hard to get out of the bag. All right, little teeny tiny pieces of wood. Now the problem with this camera, I won't say the problem, but this was basically in existence before there was an internet. So now, these days, I mean, I don't even necessarily bother keeping instruction manuals and stuff because you can just go online and find them, right? If you need instructions on how to do something, you just go and find them. But this is old enough that you're not going to probably find online instructions. And I am really being sad because I am finding no instructions here. I don't want to say I'm sad, but this is going to make a lot more work for me than I was really hoping for. Now this, I'm going to be very careful with. So this is the bellows. So here's all the pieces that go in the bellows right here. And this probably secure in. So this is the bellows right here. And this bellows hopefully is in really good shape. It's never been taken out of here. And that's really important because you want the bellows to remain light tight if this is going to be useful and be able to be used. It needs to be light tight. The bellows stretches, that's like an accordion, so it stretches out and back. But when they get really old, if they've been used for a lot and they'll sag and they're not stored properly, you can get little pinholes of light, especially in like the corners, like in these little corner areas of them. And if you get light leaks in there, it'll basically be useless. You can't use it to do anything. Oh, Jeff, you're making me sad. Young Jeff, what did you do? Where's your instructions? Okay, I've got a random washer there. I've got random washers all over. So hang on, I've got 4 random washers here. There is no instructions to this thing. That makes me sad. So I'm going to have to do some internet searching and see if I can find assembly instructions for this because, oh, see there's stuff falling out here. I think that was the knobs. This says the rear standard. So this, yep, rear standard. All right. So this is going to be challenging. It's a puzzle that, I mean, this is slotted, so that's it slides side to side. That's what this is for. And then these are the sides. I'm gonna make sure I don't lose any of these screws too. Like I said, they're already pre-drilled. They've got holes in them. I mean, it's really nicely made. It's kind of a cool little kit. I just really wish that past me had thought to put the instructions in here, and I don't know why I didn't. There's another threaded rod. Some other pieces here. I mean, it's all cherry. It's all very cool. There's like 3 extra knobs here. Oh, there's another washer and another wood screw. Another washer. And I'm being really careful here because I don't want anything to fall out. This has a hole in it right here. And being paper, some of the screws and stuff they kind of get hung up in the folds. So there's 2 more screws, wood screws, and a couple more washers. So wood screws, I'm gonna put the washers there. Yeah. All right, and then another piece of cardboard and another piece of sand, lots of little pieces of sandpaper. But as I dig underneath here and look, well, that's that. That's everything in the box. Okay, well, this is a big giant jumble of stuff. I mean, I think this may be why at some point in time I was just like, oh, I can't do this. This is just too much. Because it may have just overwhelmed younger me Because I'm going to tell you right now, older me feeling a little overwhelmed by looking at all of the stuff here and not knowing exactly how this all fits together. I mean, if we look back at the picture there, I can go through some of these photos and I can change the view. Luckily, this was on eBay and they've put some stuff. Now, like I said, I don't think this necessarily is the exact same version, because if you look at his monorail down here, and if this would stop poking that up in the air, if you look at his monorail at the bottom, it is a wooden monorail, so it's not like this brass one like I have. So it's a little different. So this might be an older camera, still similar. There's a lot of stuff that's very similar, but like if you look right here, that's that bottom standard, and you can see there's that slot right there. It would attach to these two side rails right here. Oh, and then this, oh, so this piece is matching. Yes, I think this might be a slightly different design. Yeah, because see these flags, see this piece right here? There's like a flag piece right there, and that piece attaches to this lens board right here, but I don't seem to have flag pieces, so I think mine is a slightly different design. So what I'm going to have to do is kind of dig through. Yeah, you can see it right here. See this little piece right here? It looks like a mail flag, like a mailbox flag. There's another one right here. It looks like a mailbox flag, and they have those on front and back. So those allow for the front to tip back and forth and also raise up and down. But I don't seem to have pieces shaped like that. So while this is a Bender camera, I think this is an older design. I think this was maybe from the beginning of his designs. And I think later on, like maybe mid to late 80s, he refined his design a little bit. Because this picture right here does not necessarily remind me of that. Let me see. Can I go back? Yeah, so let me see. Okay. Yeah, see, this is on eBay. That's where I got these pictures from. And this is a 4x5 Bender View camera. I'll tell you what, let me go grab my keyboard really quick. It's a wireless keyboard. And let's see if we can do a search for a Bender camera and see if we can find one, or instructions maybe. How about that? So we could do that. I'm going to bring this keyboard over here, just set it up on top of everything, for lack of a better place to put it. Actually, let me move the box and I can set this over to the side. How about that? That way I'm not putting it on things. But let's, tell you what, let's get a new window here. And sorry, Bing, but I'm not a Bing fan. Don't switch. Whatever. Stop it. All right, so Bender View Camera Kit. How about that? And let's see what we've got here. Reviews of the Bender Camera Kit. There's the one on eBay. Pictures of the Bender View Camera. That's an 8x10. So this is an 8x10 version. Let's see if they've got large. Okay, well, sort of large. I really wish those were larger. And I wish there was a way to actually advance through them. But that's kind of the big version, which actually is much more helpful to me. Yeah, so if you look here, it doesn't have those flag pieces. But I might have to use something like this. Even though it's an 8x10, the construction is still the same. So this was just for a larger camera. So here's like the back where the ground glass would go. And there's the top. Oh, remember I showed you that piece with the little slots? Well, there you go. So that's where the levels would go. Well, great. Well, see, I'm already, oh, and look, that little spring thing that I saw right there. Okay, this is pretty helpful, even though it's not instructions. Yeah, this is much more helpful because it's giving me a lot of different views here of this camera, which is kind of cool. You can see how this is, clamping onto this so it secures here, but then they saddle basically around the sides of the rail, and then the star nut kind of clamps it tight on there. So this might be maybe my best reference for doing this build. I wish these were bigger pictures though. Oh, they're so small. I mean, but this was back in the day of like, oh, you don't need it. No, look, oh, there's the box that he got it in. Oh, there's all the pieces. Look, oh, he's got an instruction book. Oh, if I had an instruction book, that would be so awesome. There's the bellows. I would really like an instruction book. There's the bellows fitted onto the rear frame there. And looks like he's using gunstock oil for the finish maybe? Or is that glue? I can't tell what he's got there. And then there's the front standard fit onto there. So that's kind of really cool. I like how he did that. Okay, well, there's a bunch of information here. Huh. And I'm not going to read any of this because obviously not now. I might have to go back and read some of this. All right, let's see if we can find some of that's pretty good. I do like that. Let's see what this is. There's another view. Now this is the older one, I think. No? Okay, if you look at the, this is a wiki page. So this is very similar to mine. Let's see if I can, oh, there we go. I can blow it up a little bit. That's good. Ooh, blow it up even more. Nice. All right, so there's those little L-shaped holding in the front, right? That holds my lens standard. I can see these pieces right here that are the risers and the tilt for the front piece. Here's the front standard right here. And then it mounts onto these pieces down here. Okay, so some of this is not overly complicated, right? I mean, it looks pretty simple when you start looking at all the pieces of wood you've got. Then you're like, oh, well, why didn't any of this match up? But anyway, these, yeah. So there's slots on the sides here. It's got the little knurled nuts there, and okay, that's not bad. That's a flicker picture, but that comes off of. I think that came off of the wiki page there, right here. I really wish there was, I could find some instructions. I mean, I might have to dig a little deeper here. I really would have to look. And some of this is like, oh, complete but not assembled. Hey, do you have the instructions? Because I'll take those. So this was a KEH camera. They sell a lot of old used cameras and stuff. And I think that's what some of these, there's another one, building a view camera. I wonder if I could send this guy a, oh, look, oh my God, look at all those clamps, dude, seriously? Look at those clamps. But look at this, there's the view camera stuff. So good on you there, bro. Look at that. Oh, look, he's got bigger pictures. He has larger photos. So once again, I might be able to ascertain what I need to do just from the larger photos. Can I go back? Can you have a plus and minus? You don't. All right. Back in the day when simple HTML, like here's, look at this. What is he doing here? Oh, he was spray finishing things. So he's got them hanging from hooks, and then he was just spraying finish on them. So that makes sense. I would probably not spray finish these. I would probably use, I will probably just use Danish oil on this. There's a picture outside. There's one with a lens on it. Now this might be an 8x10. I can't tell. I think this, well, maybe 4x5. He's got a big lens on there. But this is what we're looking at. As you can see the little T-nuts inside here. That's his ground glass. So this is what I mean. If you look at the ground glass, this is the view. He's got the back of the lens open, and this is what the ground glass is having projected on it from the front of the camera. So if you can see, this is actually upside down and probably backwards, but that's what you see when you look through a ground glass. And you see those old pictures of people with like the black hoods over when you're looking at the camera. That's a real thing. You need that. Here's the photograph that he just took with that. So that's kind of cool. And there's another picture that he took with it. Here's pictures of him using the camera. So that, I think that's an 8x10 is what he has, because that looks pretty big. But now that looks like a 4x5, so it's hard for me to say. Definitely need to go back to this and look. I would love to see if he has the instructions. I wonder if I can contact this guy. LB Custom Photography. Dude, I would love to find if you've got instructions. That would be really cool. I'm gonna have to look and see if I can find his contact info. Bender Photographic Inc., not org. Yeah, so they no longer exist. He shut down in the 90s. That's part of the problem, is that he is just no longer available. And so finding the instructions, probably not. Let me just see if I can. Instructions. Let's try that. See if it comes up with anything. Video. And that's the same guy, but I don't see anything about instructions. He may have just mentioned them. All right, so I'm going to have to basically just dig through and see. I'm going to really have to dig into the internets here and see if I can really find anything on this stuff. I don't know if I can. Like that's the thing. I have no idea if I can even find instructions on doing this. I'm going to say probably will be able to work this out. I mean, like, this is cool. I love this piece right here because it's like, oh, well, this is where these little, right here, look at that, one, and there's two little levels go in there. You can't see that, but let me show you. So there's the two levels in there, right? Little bubble levels. So this would rest on top of the camera, and then you go tilt it front and back and left and right, and then you know that you are squared up. So that's, that's really cool. That's a nice touch, actually. Some of these things I'm looking and I'm like, okay, well, where are the slots? Like this is the rear standard right here, and it has a slot for the side, but it does not have this is what I'm trying to figure out. So I'm not seeing for the main frame, and maybe I have to look at different stuff. I know I'm thinking out of my head here, and you're all like, well, you're not saying complete sentences, Jeff. That's because my brain is like working overtime trying to figure out where these pieces are in relation to what I should be seeing, because I'm thinking I should see more pieces like this. Okay, see, this is a slotted piece of wood right here. See this slot right here? You've got a slot in the bottom. And so this would fit onto, like if this is for the front of the camera, this would fit on here. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. Here. I can sort of do this. This one's slotted as well. This, there should be another piece of wood, which is right here. So this would fit here, this would fit here, this would fit here. This fits on here. And I want to get this square. And then I need a tiny drill. I'm going to do this one real quick. I want to show you something. So let's do a little something with this, because I can sort of make part of this. And I'm going to really, like I said, I'm going to dig deep to see if I can find these instructions, because honestly, there's so many little pieces and I could sort of make it work, but I would like it to be correct. I don't want this to be my interpretation of what it's supposed to look like. I'd like it to actually be correct. Let me grab a drill bit here really quick, because I would like to just drill some pilot holes for these screws. I need really tiny ones. All right. So I'm going to look at these little screws here, because I believe these are probably the screws that need to go in here. Right here, these little screws. And I'm just going to check to see what, probably like a 16th would work fine. Maybe a 64, 5/64. Tell you what, let me do this. Having lots of scrap wood, around is nice, especially cherry, right? Because this is cherry. So let me drill a 5/64 into this piece of cherry right here. Because what I want to see is if this screw is going to have enough bite in there. Yeah, that's good. Okay. I don't want to drill too small of a hole because then it's really not doing anything for me. I want to get a long enough hole that it's doing what it needs to do, which is create a space for that screw to enter into there without splitting the wood. That's what you really want to be careful, is that you're not going to split the wood. Now, I need to make sure that this is held tightly here. And I'm going to come right through here. Now, before I drill that second one, I know this one was in the correct place. I'm going to put this screw in here. And, ooh, they're little flathead screws too. Grab a screwdriver down here. Pardon me for leaning. I need my screwdriver. Where's my screwdriver? Where's my screwdriver? Okay, hang on. I need a little tiny screwdriver. Oh, here we go. I'll just use this and find the correct bit because I have lots of bits on here. I don't want to use a motorized bit on here. I think this, let me see if this fits. I don't want to use like my drill driver or anything. Okay, that's perfect. Let me take this bit out and put it away. And these things are really cool. I got these, I think from Lowe's or something a long time ago. There's Cobalt tools, but it's a ratcheting driver set, but it had all kinds of bits and stuff in there. And I bought a bunch of them for work, and I bought one for myself too, because I was like, you know, this thing is just too good not to have. But let me put this piece on. Whoa, here we go. That's really not necessary to do that. All right. I mean, yes, a drill driver would be faster, but I think, you know, so that we don't strip anything. The other thing is, and I probably should have done this, is gotten myself a little bit of wax and waxed. You can do it with wax or even soap. You can use soap on your threads. There we go. To get them just right. That's actually off just a hair. You can soap your threads and they will, or wax them, and then they will glide in much easier. I'm drilling that deeper because it seemed like this one wasn't quite deep enough. And let me go grab just a little bit of wax here. I'm just going to use like a standard finishing wax. This is paste wax. And you just need a little bit on there. And all it does is it helps that screw kind of glide in just a little bit smoother. The other thing with working with like brass screws is brass screws are soft. So sometimes what you want to do is get yourself a like a stainless steel screw and use that to do the initial threads, because they will less chance of, oh, see, that's much smoother. Less chance of snapping off or ruining a brass screw until you're ready for a brass screw. All right, yeah, but this one going in much better than the other one. I drilled that hole a little deeper, I think. There we go. Okay, and then what do we have? So we've got this piece right here, and I'm just gonna tighten this star nut up here. We have this piece over here, which, yeah, see my little tiny bit of glue that I had on there, that busted off, because that shows you how well that was done. So this is separate from there, but there probably should be some piece of wood between there, or a washer. I'm going to put a washer here. Oh, yeah. So I also need a star nut thingy, which is going to be one of these. And I need these to be, see, these are not wanting to screw into here, and I know that they do, which is leading me to believe that this thing really needs to have the threads cleaned up on it. Really think this thing needs to have the threads cleaned up. I'm going to do, well, I do not want to get this stuck on here. Oh, did I just do that? Hang on, I have to use my clamp now, or my vise, because I don't want this getting stuck on there and then being ruined. Because these are brass on the inside. But let me see if I can get this on here like that. There we go. Okay. Now it's on there correctly. And then this would fit into this one over here. So this goes in here. See, there's also another one right here, which is interesting. And there's nothing to say that I did this correctly when I put this other piece in there. That's why I'm like, really need some instructions. But for right this moment, I think this probably goes here, put a thing here, goes through here. Let's see if that wants to work. See, now this is threading through here. Should it be a hole? I think it's just a hole. There we go, like that. There should be a hole there that this goes through, and then this obviously screws into this side. There we go, like that. All right, and then, now it's still not wide enough. That's why I'm thinking I'm missing a couple of washers in here. I'm going to put another washer on this side. And the washers make sense because you want it to actually provide a buffer between the wood. So I think this one needs a washer as well. I've got washers on all sides except on this piece of wood right here. So let's add a washer. Doesn't hurt to anything to add washers. Oh, well, that unthreaded. Okay. And this piece, well, I'm just going to add a washer into here then. Yeah, this is interesting the way it's kind of constructed. And like I said, I don't know if I did this correctly when I was assembling this prior to, when it was young Jeff doing this. I have no idea. But let's see if this wants to fit on here. Maybe, maybe not. It was just on there, so I know it's going to fit. It's just a matter of getting these things on here like that. There we go. Okay. That, I think, let me tighten this up. There we go. And then if I loosen this one, slides this down. So it's more like this. Okay. And then what I can do is clamp this together. I can get a clamp and hold this together, and then I can screw that, drill and screw this into place. But this is what that front standard would look like, something like this. So you can see that this is where the lens board would go here. You can loosen these, and then you can tilt this, or you can raise it up and down. The whole thing should raise up and down. And all of that gives you the ability to focus and to compose and do some fun stuff. So, but these, you'll notice there's slots on the sides here, right? I'm wondering if the back pieces didn't have slots in them. I thought they did. Let me go back and look at that picture again. Where was one of those pictures? Just go back and look at a photo here and see if one of these had Okay, so that actually, let me come on, show me. Okay, so there actually was, oh, this is the guy with this tiny pictures, but there is no slot in the back of this one. Um, so that kind of clears that up. So the back one would just move. See, he's got lots of photos there, but it's not helping me. He has lots of photos, but I'm trying to find the one that would best illustrate, and that says instructions. So if I get rid of the instructions part, let's try that. Um, yeah, let's see if I get any different ones. Okay, so there is no sliding. Well, no, there is. Look down here on this one has a sliding one. But then this large one does not. This one does not have a slide on it, which leads me to believe that maybe it would not. Well, and this one does. So I'm really confused now. Oh, mercy. So confusing. Also, let me look at this again. This is this guy's pictures here. I like his pictures. Okay, so he has this piece here, which is what I had. He's got these on the front. He does have small slotted pieces, and that's what I'm looking at here and not seeing any small slotted pieces. And that kind of, unless they're under here, which I didn't see, I see no small slotted pieces, which you would need. Okay, well, hang on, there's one slot for this for the back. So I've got one slot here. And am I on the right view? I don't know. Yeah. So I've got one slot here, and I've got what looks to be like, okay, another piece that goes here and another piece that goes here, but these have no holes in them at all. The other ones were like all pre-drilled and everything. So that is a little confusing to me. These have, now, okay, these have holes in them. So I'm thinking, okay, this is for the back. This tilts forward and aft. So this might be, and there's a single hole, top and bottom. This is a bigger puzzle than I thought it was going to be, folks. I was not expecting it to be this, I was thinking it would be a little bit more straightforward when I was looking at this. And that in itself is like a little disheartening because I'm just like, wow. This piece right here, okay, so like there's a piece here that obviously these pieces fit, or maybe it goes like this. I don't know. I don't know. So some of these fit onto the railing. So you have to like glue these or put these on so that they'll fit around the railing. But then I don't know how that would actually, I think this might be the center one. Yeah, there are so many little pieces here. I'm gonna have to like go bit by bit, find some really good photos, and then construct that way. I am really understanding why 20-some-year-old self said, I can't do this, because it's not for lack of skills and it's not for lack of equipment. I have all those things. What I don't have are the instructions to take all these little pieces and say, oh, okay, I can see this piece right here obviously goes here. I mean, this was easy to figure out. This is no problem. I got this. I mean, it's a little, I need to clean it up a little bit, but this is the way this is supposed to be. And that's not a problem. I need to fix this. I did this one crooked. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Look at this. Look at that crap job I just did there. I went too fast. Anyway, but this I can figure out. This is no big deal. Although there are pieces to this that I'm not figuring out, like these pieces down here. I have no idea why there are pieces, why there's threaded knobs on the bottom of these. I don't know what that's for. And I had to figure that out. I really would like to figure this whole thing out. Did I not attach this yet? I thought I screwed this in. I did not. What did I just thread in and do? Oh, I'm so confused at what I've done now. I'm just a confusing myself. Anyway, this is, yeah, this is an interesting little project, and I'm quite, I mean, I can see where some of this I've assembled. I've assembled, like this piece right here was in pieces. I assembled this. This was my doing, and which is kind of cool. And if I look, okay, so here's the thing. If I look at this piece right here, there is a place for a knurled nut in here. There was a single hole here and a single hole here. Well, if I look down here, I've got a place for a star nut to fit in here, or star nut, a T-nut to fit in here. And then I've got a screw hole here and a screw hole here. So this piece replicates this piece right here, just larger, which makes sense because this is the back of the camera. This is where the film goes in. The front of the camera is smaller. So I can see where I have done that. Then there would be cross pieces. This piece with the, this would probably go in here like this. This is the piece with the levels, so it would probably go like this. And then this other one would go over here. And then another piece, which I've got a large one down here, would probably go on the bottom. So I've got these pieces right here, which kind of makes sense to me. So they'd go like this, sort of. But now, here's another thing. This piece is wider than this piece. Wow, much wider. So I'm wondering if one of these, why would this be so much wider than this piece? I mean, it's substantially wider. It's like 1/8 of an inch wider, something like that. I don't have a ruler out here. That's crazy. All right, so this is 7/8 wide, and this is a whole inch wide. So this is 1/8 inch wider. Is that just sloppy construction, or is it supposed to be that way? I have no clue. None. Zero clues. I don't have any clues to give. And that kind of drives me crazy. I think what I need to do, let me go back to the main camera here. So I think what I really need to do is do some deep dives on the web and see if I can kind of just come up with either instructions or, hang on a second, seal that back up. Instructions or really super detailed build photos that I can figure this out. Because as it stands right now, I understand more why this sat in a box for 30 years. And I was so hoping that when I dug down to the bottom that I would find that instruction manual in here. And maybe I need to just go dig through some boxes in the basement and see if I can find some. Because there's no way for me to really, I mean, I could put it the way I think it needs to be, but I don't even know if I'm missing any pieces now. And although I don't think I am, some of the stuff isn't making sense to me as to how it would fit together. And when I look at like, how does this need to fit onto the railing, onto this monorail? Well, there should be probably 3 pieces that fit on here. And this should be fitting on here to the front like this. So this would fit onto the front of this like this. This large piece would fit onto the back, and there would be another piece that here that just mounts to a tripod underneath. It wouldn't have anything attached to it camera-wise. It would just slide along this railing and allow you to move it front and back, but basically mount to a tripod. So there's got to be ways to mount to the front and the back and down to a tripod down below, which I kind of think is what this is right here. But then you've got to find, okay, well, where's the pieces of wood that this mounts to? I mean, I think that's what these pieces are right here. And they kind of match up. And you can see that that fits over top. But they don't fit tight. It doesn't fit tight to here. which you think it would. It shouldn't move this loosely in here. And you're like, I don't know, I don't have a view camera. Well, I've used a view camera. I know it shouldn't move that way. And there's no way to really tighten it. So that's why I'm just like really scratching my head on this. And I really need to figure this out because it's maybe these little pieces, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I will tell you that I am really perplexed by all of this, and digging this out is really throwing a monkey wrench into my head here, because I was thinking, oh, you know, 50 whatever Jeff can figure this out because now I've got all these tools and know-how and blah blah blah. But yeah, it's like somebody just threw a puzzle down on my desk and said, all right, build this. You don't get a picture of how it looks when it's done, and I'm not going to tell you if you have all the pieces. Have fun. And it's, oh, by the way, it's just a blank. It's a blank. It's like a picture of a snow field. There you go. Put that puzzle together. And while I enjoy a decent puzzle, I really like a good picture to kind of figure out where the pieces go. You know what I mean? I like a little bit of instruction. I'm great at instruction. I'm not great at seat of the pants build stuff here. I mean, a little bit, but if it's something that I'm making and figuring out myself, that's fine. But figuring out somebody else's stuff, this is deep. I'm not gonna lie. All right, what I am gonna do is I'm putting a brake on this. Because here's the thing, I don't want to go down a road where I start gluing things and doing things to it to the point where it's now screwed up. I don't want to do that. I want to do it right. So I was hopeful that I'd be able to find the instructions in the bottom, because honestly, I had not gone through this box until just now. And I was really hopeful that the instructions were at the bottom and it'd be like, oh, okay, let's go part 1, part 2. And we would just move from there. That's not the case. And so I think I'm going to have to relocate all of this stuff. I'm going to get some baggies though, put little pieces in baggies. I am going to do that before I put this away. You know what else is funny is that this box has been taped up with Trans World Music Corporation tape. I used to work for a company called Record World, way back when there were records, and Tape World, way back when there were tapes, but it was all Trans World Music. It was like one of the biggest record store companies. And that was 88, 89, 87, 88, 89, somewhere around there. So that's kind of how I know, like, I used tape from when I was working there to close this up. It's got some age to it, which makes it hard to find that information. That's what really is going to make it hard for me to do this. It's going to be a much larger project than I figured it was going to be. I don't know if I want to bore you with the details of this. And now I'm kind of like, okay, well, now what do I do? Because we're here. This is what I was planning on working on, but I can't build it right now. I really can't. So you know what we'll do? If you're going to bail, I appreciate that you're going to bail, because I wouldn't blame you. The time remaining, I'm going to change my my handlebars. How about that? We can switch cameras. Got that camera right there. I'm going to zoom in, and we're going to change handlebars, because that's just the thing. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a quick break before that. I got to run in and do something. I'll be right back. You hang tight, and we'll come back and we'll do some bike maintenance. That's different. Okay, whoop, sorry about that. I am back, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and change my cockpit here a little bit. And I'm gonna start by taking stuff off of the handlebars. And I have a tool that is very handy for this. And let me get that out here. This is by Crank Brothers. It's a little multi-tool for bicycles. So it's just a little multi-tool, but basically all it has is a bunch of Allen wrenches and stuff on here. But it's pretty handy. And what I need to do is remove some stuff from my handlebars. Now, one thing I could do is just remove one side and slide the whole thing out, which I might actually do that. I will start with the grips on this side. And let me see if I can find a Allen key for this. Too large. Are you gonna fit in there? I think this fits. Are you gonna fit? That feels kind of loosey-goosey. So finding the right, okay, that fit. So this should fit on this one. I just didn't have it in the slot right. There we go. So these are lock-on hand or grips. They basically just have a screw, and you can pop them off the end. They just have little Allen threads here. I need to remove, let's see, let me loosen this one, the gear shift. That is something I'm looking at changing out. This is a 3x7 gear, so it's basically 21 speed, but I want to change this out to what's called a 1x. So instead of having 3 gears right up front by the cranks, it would have 1 gear up there. There we go. Take the brake off here. It would have 1 gear up there at the front and then like 10 or 11. So I would have a 10 or 11, even a 12 speed would be kind of cool, in the rear. And that does a few things for you. I think this will be loose enough to come off of here now. But it kind of simplifies shifting, which shifting can be a pain. Oh, I guess I could take this off too. It's just my little, I got this little bag to fit on the front here, which is kind of cool because it gives me an extra water to go on here. Where are you going? Yeah, so I got this little water bag right here, which is kind of cool. You can use it for a bunch of different stuff, but you can attach it to here and on there. I use it for a water bottle because then it's just quick access. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so the drivetrain, what they call the transmission or the drivetrain, for the riding that I do, I don't need 21 gears. It just confuses things and makes it tougher to get through them. Whereas I would be much happier if I just had like 11 gears. It would give me enough ratio of hill climbing and speed going down the hills, which is really what you're looking for. So I think that would be super convenient. Now that is not something I would probably do myself. I would take it to the bike shop to be done. But I have been, is that the right one? No? I've been looking at different options for that, like buying options, and seeing like there's a lot of stuff that goes into this. Bikes are pretty complicated things, especially when you start looking at gear ratios and things like that. The other thing that over time I would like to do is put an air suspension on this instead of a coil spring. This has a Suntour coil spring right here. You can it bounces and stuff, but an air suspension is much better, I think. Now this should, I'm still gonna have to take this stuff off because I won't be able to slide. I won't be able to slide these off. So I'm gonna have to take the rest of this stuff off, take them off the other end, and then Is that this one? And then I can remove the rest of it here. Okay. Take this grip off. There we go. And then I need to remove these. So this is the rear shifter. So this is the 7-speed shifter right here. That's the other thing too, is finding like the right place for your brakes and for your, like the right position and stuff for them. It's kind of challenging. You have to ride for a little while till you figure out what's comfortable and where you really want to put stuff. All right, so here is, if I can get this off of here. Can I get this off? Oh, you're kidding me. I can't get this one off? Did they not give me, oh, dang. Okay, actually, you know what I can do? I'm gonna slide this way, make this shorter, maybe get this off of here. Almost. Oh, nothing's easy. I gotta, okay, hang on. Oh, come on. I gotta push this back over. I'm gonna loosen these. I have to be able to slide it a little bit. So I have to get this loosened up. Which means I have to find the right, this is my phone holder right here, which I found is actually pretty nice to have that on there. But I can't find the right socket for this one. Really? No, not you. Watch, it's not going to be metric. That's the thing. Most stuff on a bike is metric, but not everything. It's really weird the way you have to kind of find sometimes the right stuff. All right, there we go. All right, this is loose now. Now I should be able to slide this over more. Now I can get this off the end. There we go. That one here. Take this off of here. This is my shifter and that. So there is my old handlebar. Now, just to show you the difference between them, this is basically what's called a flat bar right here. And this is not a flat bar. You can see that two things. It has a lot more rise to it, but also it has, it's got a sweep back to it. So it's swept back. If you look at it this way, maybe, the bars are swept back towards the rider a little bit more. I'm going to set this one over here, take this handlebar off, and we will slide this in and into the, let me loosen these up a little bit more here. What do I do with my tool over here? And then I also, at some point, I'm going to shorten this. This is too long for me. It needs to come back. I think maybe a 40 millimeter would be good. So I might do that and get like a 40 millimeter stem for this thing. So that's the other thing too, is the more you ride these things and look into it and watch videos and stuff, the more you actually learn about the components and pieces of your bike, and which is kind of cool. I kind of enjoy that. So now you can see that I can change this angle, like they're really low, but I can make them much higher. I can have them swept back a little bit, and that's something I'll have to figure out, is how I want to do that. Now, before I get going crazy here, what I want to do is slide some of these things back on here that might need a little bit more. So I had the brake, or the, sorry, not the brake, the shifter, and the brake lever. There we go. So I just need those on there. Now I can slide this forward, put it in place. And then I'm just going to tighten this down a little bit, and then I'll figure out what, and you just kind of do it like you're tightening a car tire. You don't want to tighten all these at once. You want to kind of spread it around and evenly close these down. So I'm just kind of working in a pattern here, maybe crisscross like this, just so you get it nice and even. Oop, and then you drop your tool. You want it nice and even so that there's even pressure applied to all the screws, and you're not getting it over tightened in one area. And like I said, I'm not going to crank this down right now. I'm just getting it. And actually, is it centered? No, I need to loosen it again. I'm off just a little bit. The nice thing is there's a little graphic in here and you can tell exactly when you're kind of centered. So I need to move this over just a tiny bit. Loosen these again. So I can get this centered on here. There we go. All right, now it is centered. And now I can tighten these back up. I'm going to sweep them back just a hair. I think that'll be good. Tighten this one down. Yeah, so there's a ton of resources online. Like if you're wanting to get into maybe doing a little mountain biking or biking itself, I'm kind of interested in doing some bike packing. So instead of backpacking, you basically load all your gear on your bike, and then you do, instead of like, it's not like road touring where you have the saddlebags and stuff. This is more of like off-road, fire road kind of backpacking kind of stuff. And I'm kind of looking into getting into that. So that will be kind of fun down the road. All right, let me take this grip off. I'm going to put this shifter back on. And then this brake cable back on. Okay. And I'm not going to be tightening these up yet because I need to figure out where my hands will fit. And then like this brake, you want a one finger brake. So you don't want to be braking with 2 or 3 fingers. You only brake with 1 finger. These are hydraulic brakes and it only requires 1 finger's pressure to brake. And that leaves the rest of your hand to hold on to that handlebar, which is what you want. I think that's this one right here. There we go. But yeah, these P&W grips and handlebars and such, and most of their stuff gets really, really good reviews. Oh, crud. I wonder if I could slip this over. Is that going to bend all the way out? Maybe. I forgot to put the front reflector on there. I mean, I don't really ride at night, but you should have a reflector on the front. And I did not slide this one on. Let me see if I can just bend this thing. It's just plastic. Let me see if I can take the screw all the way out here and not have to, because it just fits on your, it'll fit on here like this. You can do this? There we go. I'm gonna go that way? Nope, I'm gonna go the other way with it. Just like that. There we go. Saved. That saved me from having to take that grip off that I just took off here. Okay, there's that. And then I need to tighten up so I'm going to find my position for my brake lever first. So the one thing you're thinking is like, oh, I'm going to be like riding the bike and so I just need to brake. But if you're braking hard, your hand position is going to be back farther. So you want to make sure that your brake is in a position where it's not going to impact anything else, and you'll be able to get your finger just in the right spot, which is like right about there. So I'm going to go with that. I want you to move. You need to move. You need to move, sir. You know. And we're going to go back to nothing's easy. Nothing's ever easy. Let me loosen this and get this out of the way. Way far out of the way. There we go. I can move this over. Now I can tighten this up. If I find the right one here. Choices can be good. They can also make things really confusing. Is it good to have choices? Yes, it is. Is it good to have too many choices? Okay, Okay, this goes, that's a pretty large. All right, I'm just going to tighten this up a little bit, get it in the right place, and then tighten it down the rest of the way. So if I'm here, and one fingering it, it's going to be right there. All right, then changing gears, right here, that's pretty good. I'd like to get rid of this gear shift. Like I said, if I go to a 1x gear shift, that means I only have one big cog in the front, not three. And that means I could replace this with a dropper post, which would actually drop my back seat down, which would be very cool because when you're riding down hills in bumps and stuff on trails, you don't want to be sitting on this seat. You need to have your butt up in the air to basically use your legs to dampen all the vibration and such that you're going to be getting. And so that's why you would want to have a dropper post, because it allows you to drop your seat down really quickly. It's just an air shock, basically. You can drop it down, get it out of the way, do all your ridey. When you get ready to pedal back up the hill, you just push the button and it raises your seat back up to the top again and you're ready to ride. So that's kind of cool. All right, let me get this right side of the cockpit set up here, which is what they call this. This is called a cockpit. I think this is the right one. Is this the right one? I think that was too large. Let's try this one. Like I said, this is just my, for my, I think I had this right up front, I did. And this is for my phone, which I like having my phone on my, on the front of the bike here. I have a couple of different, God, this is a pain. Like, not only do I listen to like music and stuff, which is, I don't need the phone up here to do that, I can have it in my pocket, but I do use a couple of apps, well, mainly one that I use just to track my rides and stuff. And it's nice to see like my miles and keep track of it. So that's kind of nice. All right, I think this is about good. That's not bad. There we go. All right, so there is my bike thing, and actually it goes like this. I hold my phone like that. That's good. I need to put this grip on over here. Put that grip in all the way and get it tightened down. Yeah, these are really super grippy too. I like these grips a lot. They feel really nice. Is that the right one? Hang on a second. Let me make sure I get the right. Yeah, it is. All right. And they already have some thread locker on there, which is really nice. There it is. There we go. Now I've got it in the right spot. So you don't want to over tighten things on your bike. You want to tighten. A lot of stuff actually has settings for like Newton meters and stuff. So you can tighten them down to exact specifications. All right, same thing with this one, with this brake. Hands kind of wide on the bar. And then my brake, I need it to be right about here. So that's where I want to position this one. And I can always go back and readjust these later, but I have pretty big hands and I got a pretty big grip here. And all I need is one finger. So when I got these, it was like these were shoved all the way over and it was like it was 3 or 4 fingers on there. You need one finger and the rest of your fingers are holding onto the bar, keeping control. These are hydraulic disc brakes. And so, which is kind of the standard these days. Most stuff now does come with hydraulic disc brakes on there. So now I just need to figure out for my shifter here. So that's downshifting, that's upshifting. That's probably fine. Well, that's pretty cool. I like that. All right. And there is my, I'm gonna try to do this up here. Maybe my seat is really high. If you haven't noticed, I'm very tall. So That's the other thing is I'm a very tall rider, and those flat bars made me really feel like I was reaching over. But this is really nice. So riding, one finger, that's good for the brakes. And I kind of went with this scheme where you can get the same color on the handlebar and you can get the grips the same color. So kind of liking that red, looks pretty cool. Yeah, so that's a nice little upgrade. Feels pretty good. Let me see if I can, what are you doing? I don't know what this thing's doing. Hang on a second. So I'm just trying to get my pedal down here. There we go. I don't know that I can actually sit up on this. I don't want to put any stress on that thing that I just made, but that's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Let me come over this way and I can hold on to this so I don't put any stress on that. So here's how I sit on my bike. And my leg, you can see my knee is almost straight right here, which is what you want, is almost straight on your knee. And so I'm basically, this is my position while I'm riding. Not as goofy with the legs, but being tall the way I am, this is already, I can tell, much more comfortable. Before I was leaning way out here with my hands. And so my hands are in a much more comfortable position now, which is exactly what I wanted. I think this is like a 30-degree bar, 30-degree up kind of thing. Oh, that's nice. Very nice. I'm excited about that. That's cool. I know you're probably not excited. You're like, this isn't woodworking, man. You're right. It's not. I apologize for that. But my woodworking project kind of went south for the day. Cool tool that I just threw down. Anyway, all right. Well, that's my little project there. I'm going to spend some time. I'm going to switch my camera back to you. I'm going to switch my I'm going to go and spend a little time researching and trying to find the instructions for this mess, because right now it is a mess, and I don't want it to be a mess. I want this to be an awesome looking camera when it's done. And in order to do that, I need to figure out where all these pieces go. So that's probably what I'm going to do for part of the day today. And then hopefully by next week, Monday, maybe I'll have some answers to bring back to you all and show you if I was hopefully successful. And then some of this stuff I can see I'm going to have to kind of redo some of these things, sanding and do some other stuff from my 25-year-old self or whatever I was. But I'm going to go get some baggies. I'm going to put some of these hardware things away in here, or maybe some little containers. Put the hardware in there so I don't lose what pieces of hardware I do have, and then start looking for some solutions, because I don't think I can go forward with this without them. I really don't. Yeah, which is kind of disappointing, but I'm not giving up hope. The internet's a wonderful thing. Someone out there has a copy of this thing, a copy of that instruction book. Even if it's one that I can find and have them send to me, and I'll pay for them to ship it to me, even that would be great. So, all right. I think it's a very short live stream today, but it's kind of where I'm at. I have nowhere to move forward to. I can't do any, I'm going to have to do this weekend, I'm going to do some lacquer spraying. I've got all these bases over here. All of these things need to be sprayed with lacquer so I can actually get them listed and sell them and make more money for more stuff. And then also, you know, we'll plan on, I've got some stuff over here that I've got to make some alterations to. Some other bases I was working on that I need to make some changes to, and maybe we'll look at those on Monday and see what I can do to fix some stuff. Some of these things are really particular. These bases that I make are very particular in the measurements that I have to make. And any variance in construction kind of screws up the fit of the machine, especially in these specific ones. And I had some variances and I need to figure out how to fix them. I don't know if I can or not. So we'll look at those and try to figure out some stuff. Maybe I'll have some answers to this. We'll definitely do something on Monday. I guarantee it. Until then, you all have a wonderful weekend. The sun is starting to come out here. Hopefully the temperature comes up and I can take my ride out for a bike. Take my bike out for a ride. But until I see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, wear your masks, take care of each other. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow, whatever it is you've got in front of you. I would appreciate it. Otherwise, have a great weekend. See you next week.